Hey folks, I'm Elliot. This is Everything Elliot, and today we got a small job and we're using the small machines to do it. The Baumalight is back in service. It got fixed. It was like a loose electrical connection or something. I don't really know. They didn't really have an answer for me, but it's fixed. It's working. This job came from a tree company. A tree was here. The stump was ground. We got to dig all this out. We're going to dump it in the backwoods and we're going to replace it with topsoil that I have piled over there. Baumalight should make pretty decent work of this. We're going to make a big pile of chips and then take it in the back. Oh, and then we're hydroseeding. So I got the hydroseeder on the truck behind me. like the tree company left me a little surprise, so we got to try to get that out of the ground and do our best. I did not bring a chainsaw or loppers or anything. All right, so we're at the point now where I'm just gonna level this stuff out and start dumping that topsoil over here, and then I'm gonna hand rake it because it's kind of muddy, so I really won't be able to do a really great job with the machine. So hand raking it is, we'll do our best. I'm gonna smooth this out though, because having like these bumps and ridges and stuff will end up screwing me in the end. All right, so we got that sorted. We're gonna throw some topsoil on the mess here. I got some extra. There's a low spot here next to the pipe. We're gonna put some in, and then I made a mess of a sill back there, so we're gonna spread some. We're just gonna use it all. I don't know where yet. I got like low spots. Probably just use shovel, you know, get it in. All right, well, we got everything done. We got the pile spread out and that all fixed. The stump area is all fixed. We're ready to go. So now it's time to fire up the hydroseeder. This is it's, let's see, October 28th, and this is probably going to be one of the last jobs for the season with this thing. I had to buy cold weather seed for this job, and they assured me it would grow, so let's do it. All right, folks, that's it for this one. We got everything hydroseeded. I laid it on nice and thick because the amount of mixture that I need to make to make that thing work effectively is more than I needed here. But it's kind of that like struggle, like, well, I only need this much, but the machine doesn't work if you don't have X amount, like about 200 gallons in it. I probably only needed about 100 gallons, but like I said, that wouldn't have worked. So we got the truck loaded up, we got the hydroseeder mostly cleaned out, filled back up with water. We're gonna take that home and we're gonna work on it there, get that all emptied out. And I think it turned out well. I don't know, you guys have to let me know. And this thing is just about paid off. I think I have one more job that I'm gonna try to sneak in, and then after that one, that hydroseeder will have paid for itself. All right, folks, we're back at the house, and it's actually later that evening. I had a bunch of other stuff to get done today, so I went and did that. And before we end this video, I just wanted to kind of talk about the job that we just did. So overview, remove the stump grindings, place topsoil, level topsoil, hydroseed. I charged, and I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes here. If you are interested in starting a company or you're just interested in the economics behind it, I'm gonna give you a behind the scenes look. So I charged $850 for that job right there. Now that might seem a lot. I was only there for 2.5 hours. That's how long it took me. I got there at 9:30. I left at noon. So 2.5 hours, right? That is 2.5, yeah. 10:30, 11:30, yeah. 2.5 hours. $850. So I spent $120 to get topsoil delivered there, so subtract that out of it. And then I spent on raw materials for hydroseeding probably $70. We'll call it 80. Let's call it an even 80 because that'll give us a nice round number. So in materials that I had to pay out of my pocket, I spent $200. So total that I took in was $650 for 2.5 hours of work. Now, if you break that down even further, if you don't have a availability to, if you don't have the mini skid steer, you don't have the hydroseeder, you're gonna have to rent them. To rent a mini skid steer for half a day in my area is about $125. And the hydroseeder, I don't even know if you can rent a hydroseeder that size for like half a day. You'd probably just get a full day out of it, which is probably like $150. So there's another, $275 So you're still turning a profit, because that's still $650 minus $275. That's still $375 off the top of my head. If I'm doing the math incorrectly, I'm sure you'll correct me. So 2.5 hours, if you had to rent everything, you'd still be making $375. It's not bad for 2.5 hours of work. Something to consider. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to give you a little bit of like how things work, how I do things. I have minimums on everything. I'm not going to go out there to make $100. It's not worth my time driving out there just to make $100. So I have minimums on bringing a machine out. I have minimums on the hydroseeder. And if this is something that you're interested in getting into, or you just want to know the economics behind it, it's because honestly, it's not worth my time to drive 30 minutes, spend 2 hours there to make $100. It's not worth the wear and tear. If the homeowner wants to only spend that much money, I usually just tell them to go rent a machine from Home Depot, and they can do their best. Because there is some knowledge and experience that goes into like operating the machines and making it look nice, but if they want to try it themselves, they're welcome to do that, and they can call me after they screw it up, I guess. Well, folks, that's going to be it. Leave your comments down below if you've got questions about the job we did. It was pretty straightforward. It came from a tree company, and that's another point I should get into. Get linked up with, how do I want to say it, symbiotic relationship companies, if that makes sense. So you can do stuff for them, they can do stuff for you. If you get linked up with companies like that, you're constantly sending them work, they're constantly sending you work. That came from a tree company from a guy I know. They don't do that. They cut trees. They don't do that part of the job. So he recommends me to his customers, and I go do the jobs. Yeah, that's it. If you have questions about anything I did or the money aspect, I try to be as, how do I want to say, transparent as possible. So leave a comment down below, and until the next video, I hope you guys have a great day.